It's just Dr. Claw.
It's just Dr. Claw.
It's just Dr. Claw.
That's all it is.
And what I found out, it's also...
I'll get you next time, gadget.
It's also Soundwave.
Yeah.
It's the same voice. They just add the digital effect on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is Soundwave, too.
It is Soundwave.
Yeah. I mean, we'll get there.
Yeah. I didn't even know. I honestly didn't know it was the same voice until I think I heard somewhere he was doing it, and they hadn't added it.
He's still a very talented man.
Oh, put it this way. Frank Welker is one of the most legendary voice actors on the planet.
We're not trying to sit here and be like, it's all the same.
No. I mean, put it this way. Any animal voice you hear in a cartoon, it's very, very, very likely it's Frank Welker. That's how good he is.
Yeah.
John Chung and Al Long, fucking Bob Genghis Khan, were considered for Shang Tsung before casting. Why? I mean, I like the guy they got, but Bob Genghis Khan, come on.
He's not... He's good at being a goon that doesn't talk, dude. I mean...
I want me some Bob Genghis Khan. That's all I'm saying. It's ironic we keep calling him that. We've still never done those movies.
We'll get there.
I know.
Tagawa we'll get there when the third one comes out.
That's true. Tagawa was technically the first and only choice for Shang Tsung. He was instantly selected after he came into the audition in costume and read his lines while standing on a chair. That's commitment, son. Steven Spielberg, an avid fan of Mortal Kombat, was set to make a cameo appearance as the director in Johnny Cage's first scene. However, scheduling conflicts forced him to back out. Nonetheless, the director character in the scene does resemble Spielberg. So
that would have been hilarious.
That would have been amazing.
Is that fucking Spielberg?
Shooting locations in Thailand were accessible only by boat, so cast and crew equipment had to be transported on long canoe-like vessels. An outhouse was constructed in the secluded area near the set in order to alleviate the problems of repeated trips to and from the mainland.
Lovely.
Ironically, next week's movie was also filmed in Thailand and had the exact same fucking problem.
You think they would have learned?
You would think.
No, wait, sorry. That came out before this one. Yeah. You think these guys would have learned?
You think they would have learned. All of Goro's scenes were filmed in a Los Angeles studio. The animatronic that was used to portray him had to be operated by 13 to 16 people, and it frequently broke down.
Like Bruce.
Yeah, basically, causing significant delays. It could not be brought to on set in Thailand out of fear that it would cause even more trouble.
Oh, you're not lugging that big bastard on a fucking boat to Thailand?
For the fight scenes involving Goro, the crew had created a soundstage with ponds and water, but these were quickly removed to prevent Goro from falling in and accidentally short-circuiting.
Yeah.
According to Lyndon Ashby, the medic on set in L.A. also acted as a set security guard. The man took his job very seriously. When Tom Cruise happened to be in the area and came to take a look at the set, the medic sent him off since Cruise wasn't in the movie.
Listen here, Top Gun, you ain't getting in. Alright?
I would love to be there.
Nobody gets past me. Nobody.
I'm the fucking medic. I killed a man in Nam.
The unlockable character in Mortal Kombat, the medic.
And the medic. Well, it's better than fucking art. Robin Shou convinced most of the actors to perform most of their own stunts. The hardest to convince...
Easy for you to say.
Hang on. Hardest to convince was Lyndon Ashby, who agreed. Then immediately suffered a mildly bruised kidney, which, during Cage's fight scene with Scorpion, and he urinated blood for a little while after that. As well
I would have sent the vial of that to Robin Shou.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck you, man.
Yeah, here's my pee. As well as Bridget Wilson Sampras. Why would you hyphenate when your name is that long? Dislocated her shoulder during one scene, but they were able to fix it on set. Oh, good. So she didn't have to go to the hospital.
Bridget, come here.
Yeah.
Ah!
Yeah. This is why fight scenes suck.
This is why they're stunt people. Yeah.
Well, Robin Shou is a stunt person. However, Robin Shou would rate the fights. They would be. No, this is for him.
Oh, okay.
They would be a 1, a 2, or a 3. That would refer to how many ribs he bruised when he did the fight, saying, I was in so much pain shooting that movie. He suffered the most injuries, actually fracturing his ribs during the reptile fight scene. And I think I know what shot it is, too. Originally not included in the movie, Reptile was added in response to focus groups being unimpressed with the original fights in the film. Robin Shou and Paul W.S. Anderson noted that neither knew what Reptile's lizard form would look like until after the film, making the pre-fight sequences very difficult to shoot. The stunt ninjas were planned to be Tarkatan warriors, like Baraka. The idea was canceled and they became ninja warriors. My guess is, let's not spend that much makeup.
On
that would take
Goons.
forever
on
for Goons to be that way.
Yeah.
They still technically could, because their faces are always covered.
Yeah.
They might be. Let's just say they are. Yeah. In the original script, Liu Kang was supposed to fall in love with Katana, but producers thought, we have so much action, we don't want to add a romance, so they cut it. However, by the end of the film, I always just thought they were together.
Yeah, I just thought they just kind of paired up.
Yeah,
like Johnny and Sonya, Katana and Liu Kang, and fucking that fifth wheel right in the middle.
Yeah, pretty much. You did great. Also scripted but not filmed was a short battle between Sonya and Jade, another of Shang Tsung's servants, and a scene where Shang Tsung allowed the heroes a night to mourn the loss of Art Lin and bury him in the Garden of Statues, underneath the statue of Kung Lao. We don't need to give more time to Art.
Also, Shang Tsung isn't the type of guy that go,
really not.
You're dead.
Yeah, really not.
No.
The film was originally due for a May 1995 release, but was pushed to August after test screening audience thought there wasn't enough fights. Extensive reshoots were done to extend the Johnny Cage versus Scorpion fight. In the original cut of the film, Johnny Cage was supposed to defeat Scorpion with the Shadow Kick in the forest as opposed to being sucked into a portal created by the latter. Even early TV spots of the film show Cage making contact with Scorpion and no portal appearing. Weirdly enough, I couldn't find it. I tried to find those shots. But
it would have been
I believe they exist, but I just couldn't find it.
Trust me, Scorpion and Sub-Zero are used anticlimactically enough.
Yeah.
For him to just go out in the forest...
kind of like a bitch.
Like, through Shadow Kick and that's it? Nah.
Yeah. Like,
at least they had a fight.
And that's the thing. And we also got to have the, the ripping off of the face with the skull. Like, that is one of the best scenes in the flick, and if that wasn't originally there, this movie would have actually suffered for it. As well as the reptile scene. It originally ended with the reptilian form being sucked into the gargoyle body, but not actually morphing into the Green Ninja. Basically, this implied that the gargoyle had become his tomb, and no actual fight took place. Ironically, these two fights are considered to be the best of the film.
Oh, no, the reptile fight is
absolutely
with Liu Kang is dope.
Yeah.
It might be the best fight in the film.
Oh, I agree. Most likely because Robin Shou was the exclusive fight choreographer for the reshoots as opposed to the credited choreographer Pat E. Johnson. For these fights, Shou used wire work martial arts techniques that he had employed as a stuntman in Hong Kong. Although these techniques became mainstream following the release of The Matrix in 1999, Mortal Kombat was actually the first big Hollywood film to use them. I believe that.
Oh, yeah.
The last thing filmed in the reshoots was the tag at the end with Shao Kahn. Originally, the film just ended with Raiden saying, "You did great," but producers wanted the film open for a sequel. It had a three-week run at the top of the U.S. box office. Name another fucking video game movie that did that.
Yeah.
Because there isn't one.
No.
So, we got through all that to get to this. The music. The soundtrack score was produced by George S. Clinton, not that one, with guitar work by fucking Buckethead and drums by Brain Mancha. So, legendary musicians. Kind of crazy. The producers of the soundtrack were rejected by both Sony and Virgin Records for producing the film's soundtrack. They wanted to use electronic dance music, whereas the record companies insisted on popular artists like Van Halen and Janet Jackson.
Oh, God.
The producers finally went with TVT Records, a relatively small record company at the time, and the soundtrack became the first platinum EDM record ever in history, and it did it in less than a year. Mostly off the track entitled Techno Syndrome, also known as the theme from Mortal Kombat, which you heard a bit of in the beginning, by the Immortals, which was just a side project created for this album by the controversial electronic industrial band Lords of Acid. The album also has tracks from EDM groups such as Orbital and Utah Saints, as well as rock industrial bands like Typo Negative, KMFDM, and Fear Factory. I had this album. It's fucking fantastic. Peaked at number 10 on the Billboard Top 200. It was included in the 2011 Guinness World Records Gamers Edition as the most successful video game spin-off soundtrack album ever. It spawned a sequel album entitled More Kombat. Not as good.
Yeah. No, ironically enough, the sequel was the same.
Yeah.
To this movie.
Someday. No, we're not doing that next week.
No.
We've had enough terrible shit. So the legacy of this film, kind of. Reviews were mostly average to negative, noting the subpar story, acting, and effects, but praising the fight scenes.
I'm not listening to critics on a fucking Mortal Kombat review. This movie's not for you.
No. Gene Siskel gave it a thumbs-up rating on Siskel and Ebert, calling it the only halfway decent video game movie he has ever seen, and a lot of fun, saying he was surprised. Roger Ebert was in the middle, not quite sure what to make of it. You would expect the public to be mad that it wasn't rated R and a gore fest, but that didn't seem to happen, and the film has developed a cult following. According to originally, the character of Kano was Japanese-American. However, Ed Boon and John Tobias were so impressed with how Trevor Goddard portrayed him that they retconned Kano's history in future games to make him Australian, which they thought was Goddard's nationality. They later learned that although Goddard gave Kano an Australian accent, Goddard himself was actually born in England, but had claimed to be Australian.
You can hear it.
Yeah, it's not perfect.
You can hear it. Like, you can, like, that guy's British. Like, he's doing an accent. That's not...
But yeah, no, Kano in the games is Australian now. The sets used for the film were later digitized, in the weirdest fucking thing ever, for use in the made-to-video somewhat prequel animation release, Mortal Kombat The Journey Begins, which gives us a brief backstory of some of the characters in the film. I remember renting that before I even saw the movie, and looking at it going, what the fuck am I watching?
Yeah.
Like, it was 15 minutes long, and it made no damn sense. It was so weird. An animated TV series called Mortal Kombat Defenders of the Realm aired for 13 episodes in 1996, and served as a sequel to this film, as well as combining elements of the game Mortal Kombat 3. We're not done with that. A live-action TV series entitled Mortal Kombat Conquest aired for one season in 1998 and 99. A tour, mostly based on the game, but adding some film elements, arrived at Radio City Music Hall in September of 1995. Kerry Hiroki... Shang Tsung. I can't pronounce that name, unfortunately. In the game, he was brought back to portray Shang Tsung in the game Mortal Kombat 11, released in 2019. Many of the characters' lines from the film also make a return in the game, such as "Your soul is mine." Quickly after the movie's box office success, director Paul W.S. Anderson was asked by New Line Cinema to direct a sequel, but he had his mind set on doing something completely different and accepted the offer to do Event Horizon instead, which is a great film, we'll get there. A decision he later regretted after seeing what became of the sequel. The sequel, entitled Mortal Kombat Annihilation, was released in 1997.
Like, he felt that he would have, like, oh, fuck, I would have done way better.
I could have done... He would have paid more attention to it and probably just been like, this is not... For him, it wouldn't have just been a cash grab, which is what the sequel was.
It's so funny that we talk about stuff like that, and then where his career went with, like, the Resident Evil movies, like, you want to talk fucking cash grabs.
I mean, yeah, but people like those movies. I don't, but people like them.
I like the first one.
I didn't. He also did another film series I don't like, which isn't based on a video game. The fucking werewolf vampire shit, Underworld.
Oh right.
Which I didn't like those movies either, and they've made like 100 sequels of those too.
He's making like Monster Hunter right now.
Yeah, I don't care.
Well, Tony Jaa's in it, so I kind of care.
That's fair. In 2010, another name I cannot pronounce and never could. Kevin Tencherian, sure, directed an R-rated short film entitled Mortal Kombat Rebirth and released it to the internet to overwhelmingly positive response, ironically having Michael Jai White in the role of Jax. Online producers Machinima contracted him to produce a TV series for them, which ended up being called Mortal Kombat Legacy, that ran for 2 seasons to mostly positive reviews. This led to New Line hiring him to direct an R-rated film, which after many, many delays and budget issues caused him to quit the project. After many, many, many delays and rewrites, the film, now produced by James Wan and directed by Simon McQuoid, is in production with a projected release date of 2021.
And it's being made. Like, it's not one of those, like, they are actually filming as we speak.
Yeah.
The only thing I was disappointed by, because I looked at the cast list, Johnny Cage isn't on that cast list.
Not yet.
So
they just might not have announced who it is. There's no way that they're leaving Johnny Cage out.
That's what I'm saying.
He's pretty much the only character aside... Actually, no. I think he's the only character that's been in every game. Oh, no. He was actually missing for 2. I can't remember what games, but I think he was missing, like, Mortal Kombat 4, and it was, like, a huge deal that he was brought back. So it's like, you know, there's a few things you have to get, and fortunately he is one of them. So I'm sure he'll be in the game, but it might just be a smaller role.
Fair enough. So we begin Mortal Kombat with Mortal Kombat! and then the fucking song kicks up, and it's like the greatest fucking thing ever.
Yep.
And it's not the